subscribe into one, pay that $20 a month. And these are people that usually don't kind of follow the biggest AI store, the biggest tech stories right off the bat. So it kind of shows that the consumer market is moving a little bit more to the AI space right now.
Do you feel toppy when some of your friends at a barbecue say, "What do I invest in?" Or are you happy that?
No, so they're not talking about investing. They're talking more about subscribing to the service, because they're like, look, I used AI in my job and it's actually pretty cool, and I started to use it more at my consumer at my job, at my typical real life. So I find that nowhere near the top, as we're seeing more customers coming into the AI ecosystem. So I like that a lot.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's just more and more people seeing the use case from just the chatbot itself. I ran up 7% after hours, and that's not even really the core workflow, from an agentic perspective over the next 10 years that we're going to see. The chatbot's going to be largely irrelevant in terms of how this is all going to play out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if I don't know if all these AI tech leaders, and I think since early this summer, when we saw all these big players increase their capital expenditure, it's just this earnings season, but it feels like forever ago. All these companies came out and saying CapEx is going to grow dramatically. I don't know if they've seen some secret AI files that they're getting extremely, extremely bullish, but the overall market just wants more AI compute at the moment. And that's why I can't see the bearish thesis on a lot of, like you mentioned, the semiconductor stocks have kind of seen a bit of a dip lately. Like, what's the sentiment behind there?
Yeah, it's I mean, I think people are trying to call the top on NVIDIA because it's down from 185 to 170. And it's like, are you fucking stupid, bro? Like, genuinely, are you an idiot? Like, really? That's the top. It's down $17. That's the top. It's like, okay. I mean, like, if that's the hill you want to die on it, but it just feels like a silly reason for people to get this hung up on this. Let me show this post by Duck, who just tagged me in it real quick. This is someone who has made good money on Nebius. There you go. Duck says, first time making a post like this. I have to shout out the names listed above: Sam, Jose, MC Investing. I would have never bought this before. I doubled my position literally this morning. I don't have any words for this. Thank you for the creators above for your work. Again, just incredible.
What's the other one under that? Oh, yeah. Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I think this is probably Canada, right? TFSA is Canada. So there you go. I mean, just incredible returns inside of these accounts. All right. I think he's ready now. Sam, what's up? We can't hear you because you're muted. Dude, this is why I don't use OBS. I know it's smoother, but it always has issues, bro.
Okay. How's now?
You are perfect.
I don't use OBS, but it defaults to it for some reason. I got a Scarlet.
Okay.
So, I mean, just another day, guys. Like, no, nothing's happening. Just a boring day. And holy cow, Nebius is up over 50%. Wow. I mean, dude, I didn't see this coming this quickly. Jose, appreciate watching your channel. I've been watching your channel for the last couple of years.
Have you guys ever talked, you and Jose?
No,
ever?
first time. Maybe in Spaces, I think, Sam, right? I think maybe in Sam we might be in Spaces, but like this, no. So nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you, man. I mean, it's crazy, just like with the game. Anyways, about Nebius. I'm actually really glad that you're in it too, Jose, because to be honest, you're just like seriously a professional and expert when it comes to the semiconductor space. And the fact that you caught wind of this beforehand too, I'm like, wow, this like really affirms my theories.
I mean, I wish I would call it a lot more. Like I said, I've been more in CoreWeave, but just the overall ecosystem here in the data center space, in the data center infrastructure, I think is still pretty crazy. It's
insane. And Astera Labs was up, I don't know how many percentages was up, but as at $200 for the first time ever. This thing was trading at $60 just last April. Pre-IPO levels, and then Nebius was around $20, and now it's like, I knew this kind of stuff was going to come because you already had Cloudflare as one of their customers for Toloka. You also have Shopify as well. On the infrastructure space for Nebius, which is its core business, I didn't think that we'd sign up a major hyperscaler this quickly. I mean, it just goes to show that if you're not going to CoreWeave, if you're not going to Oracle or any other hyperscalers, you have to turn to Nebius, who's growing their entire data center stack and footprint very quickly. Guys, this is not the top. Like, it's just so many people are just calling the top for AI. They're saying, hey, demand's going to fall off a cliff and everything. But like, I don't know. Why would Microsoft sign up with Nebius if they really didn't think that there was much demand coming through? So
and that's some part of them spending already crazy amount of money on their own AI
Yeah.
infrastructure. So they're already spending on that, and then they're hedging their bets on some other kind of things. And it's not that they already have, like Sam mentioned, they're also going with companies like Oracle, like CoreWeave. So they continue to spend even more and more and more. And this market is really constrained at the space.
It really is. And then you have IREN, which is it's going basically from a miner to basically empire AI infrastructure, and now it's AI cloud space. And you could already tell that these guys, and I'm not just saying these guys in terms of IREN or Nebius or Microsoft, but it just in general is that they foresee a lot of demand coming up in the near term. You already saw I forgot the name of the company that did the research, Semi Insider or something, but they say that Amazon basically signing up for more data center expansion when it comes to Anthropic data centers specifically geared for Anthropic is going to contribute 20% plus growth rate, which would be a reacceleration for AWS. And that's already a $120 billion run rate. So 20% on top of that guided for the next couple of years, dude, you're talking about maybe close to a $200 billion run rate for just their AWS segment alone, which is already a high margin business at what was like 32% operating margins. I mean, these companies are just printing money, and they're taking all that money they're getting and they're reinvesting it right back. Like, they're not stopping. Zuckerberg said at least $600 billion. I mean, I don't know how valid that is, but he did make that joke off mic after it, but then he reinstated saying that was the low end of the range. I mean, it's just, guys, where's the top here? Like, obviously the spending will slow down at some point, right? I'm not saying that the market's going to go down when that slows down, because I do think that that'll be the point where they stop spending so much and they focus more on profitability and finding the return on it. But at the same time, they're accelerating spending, right? Like, this isn't like they're slowing down or there's like a hint of it slowing down. They're accelerating, and now it's no longer focusing on data center spend domestically, but it's data center spend on a sovereign basis where you have them expanding. Jensen Huang's visiting the UK with Trump next week. What do you think? They're just going to talk about shenanigans? No, they're going to talk about expanding the footprint and spending abroad into Europe. And then on top of that, we already got the license secured for the H20s going to China, which obviously was already baked into the market.
Also, I like this CEO, bro. Like, this CEO, he's on Twitter. He doesn't really care what anyone thinks. He likes doing podcasts. And I like how he thinks about just like being a leader in the market. By the way, folks, I got a third guy who has been calling Nebius for a while. Ladies and gentlemen.
Neil.
Of course.
I knew it. He's been talking about Nebius since before I did, and props to you, man. You probably were too, Jose, but I want to give him the credit for that I'm not like the Nebius guy, but I mean, all of us have
definitely
really
been talking before all of us here.
Yeah, Neil, you got a lot of background on your.
Wait. I was about to go to sleep, but
he's just printing money.
I was about to
amateur.
I was about to go to sleep, and then he's like, "Bing." No sleep for me.
You're not
now.
sleeping tonight, man. You're not sleeping
Dude,
tonight.
Neil, what is your take, bro? 20 billion, 5 years? What's going on here?
I mean, it's insane. I mean, I have been following Nebius since January, so a while. We knew from more recently that deals were about to come. I did not expect a 17.4 billion 5-year deal to come from Microsoft right now. And they said, the CEO basically said, I'm happy to announce the first of these contracts. There are more to come. During the call, they teased us a little bit, but it seems like, Nebius is walking the walk. And after all of the posts that I've seen about, who needs software, bare metal is good enough, they were late, Data One was late, blah, blah, blah. Feels good, man. Feels good. And although it did, I don't know, how is it still up 60%, now 40, a bit less. Okay, 44%.
Neil, quick
just
question.
44.
Do you think this is, I personally think this is going to be more like a bare metal deal for them. I don't think Microsoft is going to be buying any form of like software stack on top of them. Do you feel the same way here for Nebius on this deal alone, at least?
Yeah, on this thing, I think, yeah, but there are, I mean, this would allow them to just, and they say this allows them to basically accelerate growth next year, grow even faster. So it will have an impact on the software side of their business. Maybe not for Microsoft, but for the Cloudflares, the Shopifys, and whatever else enterprise they do sign up along the way. So, I mean, Nebius was worth, what was it, $16 billion, $15 billion at the close? 15? This is worth more than the whole of Nebius.
Yeah. I know, that's pretty insane.
Not bad.
Yeah, not to mention that they already guided for EBITDA profitability, I believe, by next year. So this pushes it. I don't know exactly how that financial is going to work, but like I think it's going to really push it up further. There's a little bit of feedback actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of dive a little bit more into the stock news right here. I mean, Neil, let's ask you this question because I know you dive very deep into valuation. I mean, it's up 40%. It's $15 billion company up 40%. It's going to be getting about $3 billion a year from Microsoft. How are you thinking of the valuation? Does it deserve this? Like, is this actually undervalued even at 100? What do you think is going on?
I mean, the deal is worth more than the whole company at the close. So is it worth? I mean, it's not up double. It's up now 40%, 44%. I could even make the case, and I think Sam and some others had some write-ups on X as to how Nebius at $65 per share was undervalued. If you take into consideration 28% of ClickHouse and how much that can grow in when that will go public, that's probably going to be a big business. AV Right, Toloka, Triple Ten, and all of that. You put all of that together, and you add, of course, the core cloud business. Probably you're getting $20 billion, if not more, fair value today. Now you're getting a $17.4 billion 5-year deal, which is a bit above $3 billion a year from Microsoft. I mean, is this jump too much? I don't think so. I surely do hope that tomorrow we're up only 20% because I will be buying for sure. I bought when they reported earnings and the stock jumped right after. I said, this is probably one of the only places where I have zero issues averaging up. I think we did. I mean, when we bought Palantir at $12, I don't think we stopped buying Palantir at 20, 40, or 50. I jumped out a bit too early, but I think most of the Palantir holders did average up along the way because the company continued to do very well. And so
yeah,
I secretly hope that tomorrow we open up only 20%, 30% tops. Maybe we might get a little inflation report help on Wednesday or Thursday, and that might maybe drop the whole market. But no, if it were at $93 without this deal, I would say, okay, maybe we're a bit stretched right now. But adding an extra Nebius in contracts,
it's incredible. It is just incredible.
And
Jose,
I mean, Sam made some great points about kind of like all these cloud service providers investing more in CapEx. Oracle has about $140 billion in RPO for their cloud server business. Amazon, Microsoft, and Google all shared the numbers, and they're all in the hundreds of billions of dollars. I think Microsoft, I forget who was closer to $300 billion in kind of like RPO, they still have to match or meet. And that customer wants that AI infrastructure as quickly as possible. So for them, billing $4 billion a year, let's say that $5 billion for the next that $20 billion or so for the next 5 years is about $4 billion. For them to build more AI infrastructure to meet up with that RPO that they have lined up for cloud, it's a no-brainer for them. They just need to continue to find more partners like this. And this is why I think it's great to listen to the earnings calls of the top players, because they tell you, look, this is how much this is how much AI infrastructure customers we have right now. We need to get more compute to be able to serve them.
Sam, you think we're close to topping out on this AI bubble, or how are you thinking of those concerns?
No, I don't think we're close. I think it's going to be scary during it. Like we just saw We just saw a 20% drawdown, 23% drawdown intraday in the market in April. I think that there's going to be a lot more of those to come. I don't know if it's going to be 23%. You'd have to have a dramatic macro event for that to happen. But the market has become somewhat resilient. So maybe 10%, but we could easily rally another 10%, then pull back 10%. The bears who are hoping for that 10% correction today will have no choice but to buy later on. Or like, how do you know when to buy? Like, it's so difficult. The stocks in space that they do every single day on Twitter. I went on a total rampage on there, just so sick of people saying for a bear market correction, whatever. Like, we just had a 23% intraday correction last April, right? And then if we get 10% down from here, don't tell me that you bought in April and you sold today and you're hoping for a 10% to get back in. No, you mofos didn't buy in April, so you want to pull back so you don't have to buy the top, right? And it's just dude, Nebius was never a swing for me. Okay. It's been a long-term play for quite some time. And I sized it correctly. I wished I sized more because this position is now if the stock is up 50% tomorrow, it's gonna be a 15% position. And dude, I'm the oldest one here.
15% of your portfolio?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be 15% of my port if it opens up where it is right now. Right. So I am not a risky person when it comes to the market. I size this at a 3% position when I opened it. And that was around $25. And we're nearly 4 times since there, right? So that's 12 to 15% and so on. I've traded options on it too. I've never sold covered calls on it. Or if I did, I quickly got out of it for a short-term play. It's one of those stocks. It's like Hood. I'm scared to sell a covered call on it because I don't know what's going to happen in the market, right? With my core positions in my portfolio that I'm really bullish on long-term, I'm not looking to sell premium on it. I'm looking to add to the position. Nebius, I did get that opportunity in the 30s, but I clearly have averaging up is very difficult for me to do. I'm 30 years old. I got kids, house and everything. I can't be let me just go in more, right? I size it initially and I let it ride and I see this and I'm yeah, if it pulls back, I was just joking with Neil the other day. I was when we saw when we saw Arcady, who's the CEO, he sold 10% of his shares and everyone got people just got bearish. This is it. This is the top, right? Dude, we're 40% higher from where we were before. And I was I hope it goes down because then I'll buy more. But if it goes up, I'll make money, right? You look at it today, is this a top? I don't care if this is the top because I know that the way this company and management has prepared it from when it was in its Yandex days, that they know what they're doing when it comes to building and rapidly expanding data center at scale and serving customers in all verticals on all fronts, running multiple companies. They know how to position themselves. Why would you say this is the top right here? Because clearly it might not be the top as people thought it was today, and it could run more. But on top of that, this story is just too interesting to just sell here. I don't, unless you're a trader, selling here is just so difficult to do. You would essentially be trading the position if that was the case. But if you're a fundamental long-term investor, why would you sell here? Why would you sell your whole position? Trim, whatever, fine. But to be cutting yourself out in the thesis that I feel is still starting. Like Neil was saying, this multi-year deal has room for the upside too, because 17.4 is it right now. We didn't know this before today. So this could be double.
Well, the CEO said 20 billion. So there's another 3 billion they could 2.5 billion they could achieve as well.
Yeah. So you asked me, I was going to say that. So Arcadia, I forget how to pronounce his name, but the guy you said Roman before, he's actually the chief business officer, but he's been up there since the beginning anyway. But I mean, what if he sold part of his stake because he made so much money and he's been with the company for a while and he just needs to pay taxes and stuff? It's to support his living and lifestyle, right? Still 10%, but what if he also has some ventures he wants to get in on too? Right? He wants to have some liquidity to be able to put in his ventures because he's obviously very extremely bullish AI, right? He can do whatever he wants with his money. And I don't
let me ask Neil the same question. Neil, are you getting scared about the toppiness? I know, we got some crypto treasury stuff going on, but at least when it comes to AI CapEx, how are you thinking of the broader market and froth, but also this AI trade?
Yeah, I mean, The crypto treasury stuff, I do want to have a conversation with you about, especially this thing of today. That was something else. I mean, what was a 50x return in 10 hours?
Oh no, it went down to 30x by the end of the day. That's okay.
Only 30x. I hope we can. I hope they can buy a Happy Meal. But I don't see. There are definitely some stocks that can top, and that will probably pop. Those that really have zero business, like there are billion-dollar companies that still generate zero revenue today, might generate some revenue next year or in the next 5 years. Okay, then yeah, they might fall. But Nebius, for example, I'm not selling a single share tomorrow or the day after. Like I said before, I might even add if we do not open up that much. But no, the AI story.
You don't think CapEx in AI is topping? Like, you don't think the hyperscalers are going to stop? Like, do you think there's
they're going to stop, or they're going to slow?
They're going to slow down.
Growth?
Yeah. Do you think CapEx growth significantly slows down over the next couple of years?
Slows down growth?
Because Jensen is saying it's going to be 4 trillion by 2030, which is not slowing down.
Yeah, but it's 4 trillion not in 1 year. It's 4 trillion up until. So yeah. I think I've seen Beth Kindig say that IDC said that CapEx for the big boys is going to increase around 21% next year over year. Still something, no? And again, people forget this is I think it was $421 billion in CapEx for only 4 companies. Only 4 companies around the world. You're going to tell me that no country is investing in AI? Exactly this one. This one?
Yeah.
No, there is she made another post with Amazon and then whatever in the thing. She said that that's going to grow to $400 and something billion or so next year. But again, we're only talking about the 4 big companies. We're not talking about all of the other smaller companies. We're not talking about the countries that are investing hundreds of billions of dollars probably. Yeah, this number right here. So yes, maybe CapEx, not maybe. CapEx is definitely not expected to grow as fast as before. But as I keep saying with Jose also, we're only 2.5 years in. Don't forget that 2.5 years ago, there was no ChatGPT in our life. Only 2.5 years. Building out huge infrastructures takes more than a day, more than a month, more than a quarter. It takes a while. Like all of these companies, Oracle with their $130 billion in backlog or whatever, it is not going to be spent in a day. You can stretch it out for so many years. And so, yes, maybe CapEx growth will not double like it did before. But these companies are still expected to spend hundreds of billions of dollars each and every year for the foreseeable future. And something Jose said this morning, we're not even talking about agentic AI yet or robotics, humanoid robots. That's coming. And so, yeah, I don't know. Last week we've had like this Seaport or C whatever 1.5-star analyst come out with a AMD note and say that Meta and Microsoft are reevaluating their AI spend. Man, what are you even talking about? Zuck basically put out like a $600 billion number in the White House, and he even said that's going to be more than that. Microsoft just here signed a $17.4 billion deal, like it's nothing. And so, no, I don't think we are near the AI top for the market.
Yeah, I do want to say, and I've talked to Neil about this, is AI infrastructure is expensive, and the way this dealing works is a little bit weird. So I know a lot of Nebius bulls have talked about the great balance sheet that Nebius has. It was pretty much clean till last quarter, right, Neil? I think this quarter it jumped almost to $1 billion. I think when the deal like this, you're also going to continue to see that balance sheet, I don't want to say get weaker, but you're going to see the debt grow a little bit, because what ends up happening is very similar to a lot of these big players. When they sign a big deal like this, they get a small pre-initial fee at first, or some prepayment at first. They use that prepayment to build these massive AI infrastructures, to buy these massive GPUs, and that increases dramatically. But as long as you know you have that 5-year bill, 5-year recurring revenue, that kind of has a backing to it. So I know there's a lot of Nebius shareholders that see that balance sheet as kind of like an ultimate bullish thesis. I'm just going to say, be prepared to see it maybe transform a little bit into more higher debt than it has had in the past, but I wouldn't say be scared of it. I think it just comes with this overall AI infrastructure market. So if next quarter or the quarter after that, you see massive growth in debt, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bearish thesis.
Yeah, we've talked about that with CoreWeave as well, right? Okay, CoreWeave, more debt, etc., etc. But CoreWeave keeps on saying, like, the reason why we're building and why we're moving this fast is because of the contracts that we're getting. They're not building out for the sake of building out. They have this business plan, this business model in place in order not to overbuild. Our CoreWeave and Iron and all of these players, they're probably up after hours, right?
Yeah, I think they were all nearly like 5% up after
Nice.
hours right now.
Very
And we have
nice.
Oracle earnings tomorrow, which is also another big AI infrastructure. So if we get more good news tomorrow, I think this is going to be a pretty great week. But hopefully I didn't just jinx it.
You didn't just Jensen it. Nice. I didn't just Jensen it. No, man, I'm sure you're good. Did you? I might have missed that. You said because Iron is up 8% right now. That's a speculative position I have, which is not as speculative as I thought. So I might be adding to because I want to build that one bigger. Took a closer look at their financials, and I'm not sure if just that one quarter was a one-off for the profitability. So I might be adding to that position. It was actually really interesting because I did a post on how you have a lot of miners or X miners for Bitcoin basically turning into HPC computing centers or AI infrastructure data centers and so on. Iron is one of them, but then you also have what was the name of that company? Cypher. Cypher is also turning into one as well, but they're more focused on HPC computing. But basically, they're taking their entire stack because these miners they have a lot of existing infrastructure that they use to basically mine more Bitcoin. And they see more return on basically renting out their compute or using their compute for AI queries in order to basically make more money off of that. And they already have energy leased or they're built in strategic areas where energy isn't quite as expensive, which makes them more formidable players that have existing infrastructure for AI compute. So you're talking about instant access to demand. Like take example for how Google has a stake in Wolf. Not Wolfspeed. Wolfspeed is actually up after hours too by like 60%. TeraWolf, yeah. It's funny because I think people think WOLF is a ticker for WULF, and they're actually bidding that up. Meanwhile, Wolfspeed is actually a semiconductor play on EVs, and it's like they're not the same thing, dude. One of them is like a company that
bankruptcy
reported.
again?
Yeah, I know they filed bankruptcy twice. Completely different company. That's on the Google. But anyways, it's actually pretty interesting seeing that happen. What's even more interesting is that Navitas, which is also in the semiconductor space, but they focus more on GaN technologies, but they did sign a new power deal with NVIDIA that was announced, and the stock went from like $2 to $5. And it's actually pulled back considerably when it was at like $9, almost $10 just the other week. So that's another interesting, but that's more of a speculative play as well, because like they're not profitable, they're burning cash and everything, but they just got like NVIDIA as like a part or whatever. I would say out of all of these, Iron is probably the most interesting one in the miner space. Obviously, Cypher is one of them too. But the one that I've done the most research on that's more applicable to my needs in terms of like widening out the infrastructure bet for myself. I have Amazon, of course, which is one of my largest positions. It's kind of scary because coming into this year, Amazon was 15% of portfolio and Nebius was 3% of portfolio. And like now they're both the same size. And like that, dude, that is scary. This is scary for my portfolio because I'm not used to seeing these huge swings in my portfolio. I've been mostly a mega cap concentrated person. And, putting like small bets, people are like, hey, why are you only putting like 2 or 3%? Doesn't think, well, 2 or 3% becomes a big position when you get in early.
Why are you scared?
Because I'm not like scared, but like I'm not used to seeing massive volatility in my portfolio because 8 months ago that was not the case. I mean, I'm not like scared like, oh, the market's gonna drop like 30%. Just like, whoa, that's a big figure in the portfolio to be moving. But happy at the same time. So like scared, happy, right? And, nothing's ever fulfilling if it's not a little bit scary. So anyways, No, there's
So
some
do
interesting.
you think like CleanSpark, Marathon, all these companies are going to say we don't give a shit about Bitcoin mining anymore and pivot? Do you think that's?
I don't think Mara will per se, because they are more, they are, instead of, there was a point where they were selling a lot of Bitcoin after they were mining them, but then rather they're just adding to their balance sheet and just holding on to them. So I think they're becoming more of like a Bitcoin treasury play. So that way their companies actually start to flatten out in terms of volatility. At least that's what Mara, I think, is doing. I don't think they're going to jump into that sector, because I think the companies that are already going to do that have already jump started that. You had Core Scientific doing that with CoreWeave. And then, like I said, Iron. And then there's also Wolf, like I mentioned earlier, and there's Cypher and so on. There's a couple of other players as well. But this, what we're seeing in the market right now is like the mega caps essentially, I don't want to say flat, but like not outperforming the smaller caps, right? And you have these smaller players really just getting the better benefit of the broadening out of the market. Because now, instead of NVIDIA running 10 times, you have Iron basically running it 10 times in the last 6 months. Or maybe you have Nebius based like 4 or 5 times in the last few months, right? And those are like secondary proxies to the AI bet. And they're seeing a lot of upside because all that investment in capital does a marginal move for NVIDIA. But when you think about how much of a move $17 billion is to Nebius versus NVIDIA, that's why Nebius is up 50%.
Right,
dude, if Microsoft said they're going to give NVIDIA like $17 billion, like NVIDIA wouldn't even budge. Yeah, it wouldn't even do anything. Like you take Nebius, it's like, holy crap. You even see like Wolf, you know, getting the stake from Google. Like there's no wonder these are running. And then you have MP as well, which had that deal with Apple, and the thing ran like 100% a week. Like, dude, these are the plays that are hot right now in the market. And you don't need to put that much capital in these plays to make a lot of money. You just need to have patience and do your due diligence ahead of time to make that small bet and just let it run, right? Like, yeah, I mean, I would like to add more Nebius right now, but if Nebius pulls back to $60, then I said the other week that I'll add in 50. Like I'll probably add to it, but it's like, dude, there's probably a lot of really good plays out there that Wall Street hasn't figured out yet, that a lot of retailers have. Right?
And Sam mentioned a few, Sam. I don't know if anybody saw 3 weeks ago. I did a video of 15 secret AI stocks, and they're all miners. So there's at least 15 miners out right now that are kind of doing these AI transformation. Some are good, some are bad, but I covered in like a 10-minute video 15 of them. So there's a whole market here. You just have to be careful on which ones you enter, obviously, because some might take a little longer. Building AI infrastructure is not just as easy as building kind of like the mining facility. And if they're transforming, you have kind of some business risk with the transformation of a completely business. But there's a lot of small players that can kind of benefit from it, like Sam was mentioning.
It's so funny how it's like I'm sitting over here, I'm like, you know, oh wow, I'm up so much in Nebius, and I see like people saying they're up like 100K after us. I'm just like,
dude, there's one screenshot from guys up 2 million.
Like, I mean, commission cut? Like, nah, I'm just kidding around. But I'm happy for you all. You know, I'm honestly not going to take all the credit for it, and I don't even think I should take any credit for people making money off it, because I didn't hit the buy button. You did, right? So you all hit the buy button when you bought Palantir. You all hit the buy button when you bought Hood. You all hit the buy button when you hit Google, whatever it was. You guys hit the buy button. All we did was just entertain, right? That's all we did. We're not managing your money. We're just entertaining, right? Not financial advice, whatever. But like, this is where retail stands out, because you can do that. If you manage a fund of $100 million, you can't buy 5% of portfolio Nebius without getting the SEC to come at you, right? Oh, that's dope, dude. 100% Nebius. That is true conviction.
I was talking to a hedge fund manager the other day that they have a lot of Hood, but like they can never be up more than 15% a year because they're always hedged. Retail doesn't have to be a hedge fund manager, right? Even if you have a decent sized portfolio, you can go long and let it run. And you know, that's when people say they're up 200, 300% this year. Like, that's not easy to do, but it's believable on good names, especially if they use a little bit of leverage with some call options that can really juice it up. But like, even if you just own Nebius from 20, you're up 400%. Boom. There's your year. There's your portfolio.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of hedge fund managers, they can't have their portfolio allocated more than 5% in a single company. Like that's just like a rule. And that's how I operate my portfolio with initial size. But I'm not running a hedge fund. I'm running my own portfolio, my own money. So I can let Nebius run. Right. I don't need to be like, oh, it's 5%, you know, then all the portfolio requirements, compliance, I got to bring it down. Then all my, you know, we don't need to worry about that. No one's calling you up when Nebius is up this high. I was like, I want to lower my risk profile because this is not what I signed up for. Sell some next. Yeah. It's like, you don't need to worry about that, guys. You can let the thing run.
Okay. So last question for you guys. You think this thing dumps tomorrow? It keeps going? Jose, we'll start with you. What do you think happens tomorrow?
I think the market is going to wait a lot till Oracle earnings to see if this AI infrastructure story continues. So I'm going to be more interesting to see what Oracle produces, and I think that can continue to drive the momentum in this space. Maybe in a small pullback, but I think we're going to be more cautious for Oracle earnings, which I think, are they tomorrow? Am I getting my days correct? So yeah, if they report great RPO numbers, I think we can see another continued run up on this AI infrastructure build out play.
Neil, your thoughts?
I mean, I hope it pulls back. I really hope it does pull back enough tomorrow for most of us if we want to add more shares. I mean, why wouldn't you want this thing to pull back a little bit? I am extremely happy with the performance of my position, but we're still far away from the end game in there. And I mean, the CEO basically said it black on white. This is the first of future contracts, and more are underway. Of course, they start off with the Microsoft one, which is a pretty big deal. But yeah, we're still early, and tomorrow, yeah, we have Oracle, we have I think Synopsys, we have Rubrik. I think Sam, you follow Rubrik a little bit. Cybersecurity name.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty decent sized position of mine. Looking forward to that one. Another long-term story. It's beautiful. The running into earnings, because they grew at like 40% last quarter. Going to earnings, they're about trading at an EV to NTM sales of about 14, 15. Actually, I think it's more than 15 now because they're at like 10% in the last few days. So they're running pretty hot, but they are, if they close around $100, that would put them in the same spot they were trading at during the last earnings, which they pulled back like 15%. So, you know, we'll see, but I'm expecting, for me, maybe I'm a little optimistic. I think the troubling part of a lot of people say with this company, of course, is SBC for software companies, but also seeing that their free cash flow or adjusted EBITDA guide, I think is actually going to come up closer than people expect. And I think the stock is going to run further. Regardless, you know, it doesn't matter where it goes. This is another stock where I hope it pulls back as well, so I can add more to it. I was thinking we're going to visit the $70 range, but it, you know, obviously went the other direction there, which I'm just fine with too. Yeah,
when's
tomorrow's
the lockup expiring?
I think it already expired because it's been more than 6 months. They IPO'd in May of 2024, so there was more than enough time. In fact, they actually did do a dilution. I think it was after last quarter, or I think it was during the quarter. I forget. The stock pulled back, of course, but you know,
are any of you guys selling or trimming at all tomorrow? And put in the chat too. Is anyone trimming their Nebius? I mean, 40% is. I mean, dude, that's people might want to trim. You know.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, if people bought at 20 and now you're 100% exposure is Nebius, then yeah, of course. I mean, trim it. Why wouldn't you? Right? You just remove a bit of money off the table. But I am not 100% in Nebius, so I don't see why I should trim. I do have some core weave, thanks to Jose. I do have some iron as well, but I have zero plans on trimming any of these names because we're only going to go up from here. Yeah. Question is how much and how long it's going to take until all of these infrastructure build-outs are completed, because they're of course not going to happen overnight or next week or next quarter. This is still like a 2-year type of thing probably.
And I would just caution people too. I feel like sometimes people get jealous or envious and say like, oh, look, I bought Iron or CoreWeave or these other players and they didn't announce this and then they might try to switch off. I think for this whole market, something like this is going to be coming. And that's why for the patient investor, it's definitely going to be a good time. Certain times you're going to see more contracts for one company, but I would say I would be hesitant to trade off one of these miners for another just because they just got a new deal. Because I do think for any of those other AI players, so I know sometimes it sucks seeing the one you pick not win, But I think the time is coming for a lot of these players as well.
Agreed. All right. Not bad. This is pretty cool, dude. All three of you have been calling this name along with MVC investing on X.
Yeah, man.
Incredible.
Get him up. We got to get him up here because that, if I
It's like
recall,
what, 2 p.m. where he lives or something? It's
I don't
early,
know,
right?
but if I
Same
recall,
time
it's
as
a,
me, it's
yeah.
midnight. But
wow.
Okay, we got
I
to get him
highly
on.
doubt he can sleep as well.
Yeah, this is incredible. All right, congrats everybody. Jose's, Sam's, and Neil's Twitters and YouTubes I am linking in the chat and in the description, so please make sure to follow all of them. While I'm doing that, just real quick prediction from you guys, Oracle pump or dump. Neil, what do you think tomorrow?
Ooh, I had this conversation with Jose this morning. I mean, Oracle pump or dump? I'd say false. I think it falls just because it went up too much. But good numbers, but it falls.
I will say for them to get a pump, I think they need a Broadcom type of quarter where Broadcom was at all-time
Yes.
highs. Then it got this 10 billion and then it went to 350. Like Oracle's basically at all-time highs. I think for them to break 270-ish, which would be like 10, 20, like they really got to announce something we're not expecting. And I don't know if they will.
But I think we already got that not that long ago with that fiscal year 28
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is why I say good quarter, but false.
Jose, pump or dump?
Good quarter, staying flat. Unless, like you mentioned, they have to talk a little bit more about some of these projects that they're announcing. They still haven't really seen too much on their RPO with the Stargate. If they finally give us the Stargate numbers on the RPO and it's some crazy billion-dollar growth, then that's a bump. But if not, I still expect a good quarter and just pretty much neutral from where it's at right now.
All right, Sam, Oracle, pump or dump? What do you think?
I think it's gonna pump only because last quarter they guided for total cloud sales above 40% year over year and 70% for cloud infrastructure. We've only been hearing more infrastructure deals coming through. So if they guide up on that, I think it might be flat to up.
Got it. All right, folks. Thank you, Jose, Sam, and Neil. All their Twitters and YouTubes in the chat and linked in the description. Really appreciate you guys coming after hours to discuss a massive move. So thank you guys. I'll see you next time. All right. Peace. Okay, folks. There we go. What a move after hours. Again, congratulations to everybody in this name. Robinhood as well after hours 117.36. There you go. Nebius down a little bit from the highs of 107, but 89.76 still up basically 40% after hours. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So, dude, it's real. It's not going anywhere. It feels very real. 54% of you say Oracle will pump tomorrow. Oracle right there, 240. That's actually up a little bit after hours. Is at 238. So that's up about 3%. Probably moving potentially on this Nebius deal. MSFT, Microsoft, 499. CoreWeave's up a little bit, but Nebius is the story, up about 40% after hours. All right, folks, that's it for me. There will not be a market open or close tomorrow. I will be taking a flight at like 6 a.m. Tomorrow morning to Vegas. I will see anyone who is in Vegas at the Robinhood event. Should be very exciting to see people that are there. So Wednesday, market open. Tuesday, tomorrow, no open, no close. Thursday, probably nothing either. And then Friday, maybe the close. So Wednesday will be the day I'll be back in the morning. I'll wake up at 5:45. I'll try to get Tanner up, but Tanner is a beauty pageant queen about his sleep. So it's going to be hard to wake him up. But yeah, I'm not gonna be able to stream Oracle earnings, so I'll keep track of what's happening. But I will be kind of live tweeting Robinhood's event. So if you follow me on Twitter, I'll be able to kind of post whatever is happening at Vegas, and hopefully get to see anyone who's there as well, and get to talk to you guys as well. Did you decide on who the little spoon is yet? Not yet. Not yet. Also, but I'll be back tonight, 9:30 Eastern. We'll have a stream with Tanner and Roy. We'll have a lot. It's basically our Robinhood Weekly instead of calling it Robinhood Weekly. So we'll have a lot to talk about S&P 500, and then we'll get into all this AI CapEx stuff, Broadcom, NVIDIA, and we'll keep going from there. Dude, I know the past 2 weeks has been weird with the stream schedule. It's just been a lot of events and traveling, but after this one, we're going to be back and get into our routine. And I'm really happy you guys say the audio is good. I think Doug said the audio is indistinguishable from my parents' house, which is really good because the audio there was like perfect. So that's good. I'm happy the audio is like getting a lot better. I think it's going to sound even better once I finish sound. Like there's a bunch of these foams squares on the wall, but there's like 50% of it that still needs to be done. So it should be even better. Siege, thank you for the $20 super chat. Bring that vintage piece of Las Vegas history with you. Have fun. Thanks. That is going to be very fun to bring. That's the Las Vegas Sands coin that Jason gave me at the Miami meetup. So definitely will bring that, and we should have a good time. Desi says, enjoy Vegas, behave. I'm not going to get into too much trouble at Vegas. I think we're going for a dinner Tuesday night, but outside of that, like dude, there's not even enough time, bro. Because like the whole day is stacked with events and schedules and podcasts, and then Wednesday is the same thing. So like it's not even one of those trips where you can like really go crazy. So we'll be back in a day and a half, and then we're done. But should be fun. It should be fun, dude. This is crazy. This move on Nebius, like first of all, Hood, great day. If you're in Hood and Nebius, it's got to be a really great day. But then to see this move after hours, which just continues to validate what's going on in AI and data centers, it's fun, bro. It's really, really fun. I recommend watching Jose for the market open. I don't know who does a close, but Jose and Couch do a market open every day. I'm linking his channel in the chat, so you can subscribe to that. And yeah, they will be at least doing, I think, like an hour and a half in the morning. Tanner's not going to go live, bro. Bro, Tanner, dude, I'm getting to the airport like 3 hours before him. So I'm going to be waiting at the airport for him. I don't know why I picked a flight this early. I don't know what I was thinking. I did not need to come this early, but whatever. I'm happy to just get the flight over with and be there. So yeah, I will see Tanner and Roy tomorrow, and we'll see what goes on. We'll see what Robinhood can announce, and if they can announce something exciting, then, you know, maybe the stock continues to get some momentum from what's going on as well. Dude, I think I need to make a new Instagram so I can do like story updates. I don't have an Instagram. I mean, I have one, but I don't use it. I think I'm going to make a new Instagram so I can like show behind the scenes of my life. But I don't know, dude. Just posting on Instagram just feels like, it's just like, it's like I think of Twitter not as a fun platform for like posting fun stuff. Like I post some fun stuff here and there, but I think of it as like a communication platform around the news, which means there's a lot of work I put into posting the content that I think would be valuable for an audience. Whereas Instagram is just like random shit, right? And I haven't posted random shit for like years, like not since I was in high school. So it's like, but I want to do more of that. So this is more human stuff, you know? So I want to see if I can do that as well in the future. All right, cool. That is it. Thank you, everybody. Oh, real quick, let me answer some of these super chats as well. So someone said right here, Nathan says, I have $68 covered calls expiring this Friday. How should I deal with this situation? Okay, so a couple things here. Number one, I would roll them soon, right? AKA before Friday. You're probably gonna have to roll a year out. So when you're at 68 and you're this deep in the money, you're probably gonna have to roll to like January 2027, maybe like mid 2026, end of 2026. And you can probably roll from 68. I think you can probably get into the 90s or in the hundreds based on how far you go. And then you just have to be okay with waiting, right? So if you go from 68 to 100 by, call it June of 2026, and then Nebius gets to 120 by June of 2026, two scenarios. A, you can wait until then and then roll again for like June of 2027 and try to get to 120, 130. So you're kind of be playing this game of catch up. Or B, you got to tell yourself, all right, I was okay with selling at 68. I'm definitely okay with selling at 100. Yes, the stock is $20 higher and I missed out on some of that upside, but I have $31, $32 of upside from 100 to 68, right? So you kind of have to be okay with the given, the push and pull of like where you want to ultimately sell it. Now, if you're really nervous and you think Nebius is going to like 200, you can go to like December 2027, 2 years out, and really roll it and say, I don't think the stock's going to go to 210 or 215 by December 2027, which would be a double from here, which would be incredible. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, but you can give yourself a lot of time. The key mental model here, and this is something that Adam talks about a lot as well, is do you actually care about the shares? Do you care about this investment? Do you want to keep the shares? Because if you do, the premium that you are generating from these covered calls is irrelevant versus like keeping the shares. So if you want to keep the shares, then you might be upset that you can't continuously do like weekly or monthly covered calls. But even if you roll for a net credit of like $1 or like a net debit, maybe you have to pay like a couple $100, which is nothing in the grand scheme of how big your position may be, to wait a couple years, but your price goes from 68 to 200 or 68 to 175, then keeping the shares is what matters more than anything. So that would be my strategy here. Now, the other thing is, what if this Nebius pump doesn't last? What if JPAL gets a little raunchy? What if FOMC is not that good? What if we get a little bit of a macro sell-off? Then you might want to wait until you roll it. Now, obviously, you definitely need to roll it tomorrow because unless it goes back to 68, it'll be underwater. But maybe you roll for a couple months to like 80 and say, look, I'm going to keep this covered call underwater until December because I don't think Nebius deserves to be 90. I think it deserves to be 80. And then as it dips, you can then get out of that covered call. But given the nature of the deal that we just spent an hour analyzing, adding their entire market cap after hours in a 5-year deal, to me feels like this is a justified move. And so I would roll it out probably a year, get to like 150 and just be happy with the gains from 68 to a higher level. So that's kind of how I would navigate the situation. Danger, thank you for becoming a channel member. Appreciate it. Davin, again, thank you for the super chat. The market close literally turned into the Marvel universe of retail AI investors. Thank you for all the great work you do. I mean, this is what I was talking about in the morning, right? This is the coolest part about being in this entire community. It's like these guys, like immediately I called Jose, then Sam texted me, then I saw Couch was in the chat. And then you guys got some content for the past hour from 3 people that know a lot more about Nebius than myself. And then boom, we can kind of crowdsource that information for everybody. And that is the goal of what we do in this community. So thank you for the depression. I will cry myself to sleep and cry tomorrow, all tomorrow. Amit, it sucks when you're not consistent. You have to be better. Dude, I think I hate it just as much as you guys do. Like I really do love doing this every single day. But these events, you know, these are my babies, Palantir and Hood, right? These are like the events that I personally do want to be at as well. And so I think the trade-off makes sense for these events, but we should be back to normal in about a week. And then we'll get into our full routine. Is it weird spending almost every day of my life with Amit for the past 4 or 5 years? No, I mean, I think that's quite frankly, I said this yesterday. I'm going to say it again to end out the stream. I have a pretty sophisticated talent of stealing men from their wives and spending time with me all day. I don't like, it's quite incredible, to be honest. You know, didn't realize I had this talent, but I guess I do. So you join a network of many people that are stolen from their significant others and spend time with the stream. So by the way, I asked Tanner if I could tell you guys about the quirk. We will be revealing Tanner's quirk tonight on the Tech Bros podcast. We will be revealing his quirk. He said, yes, you can tell them. I don't care. I was like, thank goodness, because this shit is hilarious, bro. This shit is hilarious. So my GF agrees. The amount of people that have said this is just, it's crazy. But the context here is that Tanner had us after hours on the podcast last time, and he was like, guys, before we all share an Airbnb, I need to tell you something. And me and Roy thought it was like some serious shit. And then he said it, and we were like, bro, you're a child. And so it's going to be so funny. Maybe some of you guys agree with him. I don't know. But I just thought it was hilarious. And so we'll reveal it tonight on the Tech Bros podcast. So there you go. All right. Love you all. Appreciate it. I'll be back tonight for Tech Bros. We'll be missing Tuesday. We'll be back Wednesday for the market open. I'll be covering what's going on with Hood in Vegas. For those that are in Vegas, I'll see you there. And we will keep going. Congratulations, Hood, S&P 500. Congratulations on Nebius. Incredible stuff. Big win for retail. And we will keep going. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye, everyone.